Hello and welcome to this week's news bulletin from the Christian Institute. The Northern Ireland Assembly has rejected redefining marriage by an outright majority for the third time. MLAs at Stormont voted 51 to 43 against a motion tabled by the Alliance, Sinn Féin and Green parties. Speaking during the debate on Tuesday, Finance Minister Simon Hamilton said a wide range of people are against the move.
It isn't appropriate to brand those who oppose same-sex marriage as bigoted or backward. Good people, Mr Deputy Speaker, people of the Protestant faith, people of the Catholic faith and people of no faith at all oppose same-sex marriage, and they shouldn't be lambasted because they do so.
Unionist MLA Lord Morrow also criticised the motion, saying the language around the marriage would be changed.
The terms husband and wife, and indeed father and mother, would become meaningless. Of course, some advocates of so-called same-sex marriage argue that this would not interfere in any way with the rights of those who hold to a traditional understanding of marriage, but that is simply not true.
The Christian Institute's Callum Webster welcomed the result of the vote. The people of Northern Ireland are clearly opposed to redefining marriage, and it's only a political elite who are trying to force the change on the province. Elected representatives have voted 3 times in less than 2 years to keep marriage between a man and a woman, so those pushing for gay marriage should take the hint. David Cameron has said he will reject plans to introduce civil partnerships for heterosexual couples. A government source told the Sunday Times Cameron sees it as undermining marriage, and the party's objection is largely driven by fear of a rebellion. The government launched a consultation on civil partnerships in January this year and is now analysing the results. In May last year, Pensions Minister Steve Webb said allowing heterosexual civil partnerships would cost the country at least £3 billion in public service pensions alone. A former Premiership footballer has spoken out about his spiralling gambling habit, which resulted in bankruptcy. Keith Gillespie, who was dubbed the new George Best when he joined Manchester United, earned £14,000 a week at the height of his career. But Gillespie, who went on to play for Newcastle United and Blackburn Rovers, lost more than £7 million through gambling and bad investments. Speaking on the Stephen Nolan show last year, Gillespie talked about a time in his life when he lost £47,000 in one afternoon.
You know, you always think as a gambler that the next one, you know, is the one, and you just keep going and going and going, and before you know it, it was 47,000 in that one afternoon.
And 47,000 back, what year was that?
95.
Was a lot of money.
Yeah, it was.
It still is a lot of money.
Yeah.
But to a footballer, it was even a lot of money back then.
Yeah, it was. You know, I was 19, 20 years of age. You know, so I had sort of no responsibilities at the time. You know, I wasn't married or any kids or that. And
the next day, you've lost what, 47 grand? The next day, what do you do?
I went and lost another 15. You know, so it was 62 grand in a few days. So, you know, it was a harsh lesson.
Gillespie writes about his gambling addiction in his autobiography called How Not to Be a Football Millionaire. The outgoing political editor for Sky News, Adam Boulton, has suggested that the Prime Minister was simply trying to gain Tory votes by saying that Britain is a Christian country. Writing in the Sunday Times, the TV veteran said Cameron was using faith to iron out problems with his Christian Conservative voters. When the Prime Minister takes to the columns of the Church Times to advocate Christian engagement and holds an official Easter reception, the personal has become political. Professing Anglicanism should helpfully shore up the Conservatives' core vote, under threat from UKIP and rattled by the introduction of same-sex marriage. A Christian fostering and adoption agency is looking to expand despite previously facing closure over its pro-traditional marriage stance. Cornerstone North East was investigated in 2008 after new equality laws were introduced. The organisation's general manager, Pam Birtle, described how the Christian Institute's legal help was crucial in keeping the agency's doors open.
We did literally come to the point of being able to acknowledge that without the involvement of the Christian Institute, their legal team and their support financially, that our doors would have closed. And we were delighted with the Christian Institute that we won that. And obviously from then we've been able to continue to assess families, to approve families and to place children.
She also revealed how her own time in care inspired her to set up Cornerstone and explained what the future holds for the organisation.
I was myself a child in care and had an unplanned pregnancy at 14, but I had no option but to give my baby up for adoption. I became a Christian following that, And when I felt that Cornerstone was something that I wanted to start, part of the motivation was about wanting to provide an opportunity for Christian families to take children just as the family had done with my son. Our vision is to have a Cornerstone office in every region of the nation, so that whenever any Christian family contemplates fostering or adoption, they would know that our number was the number to call, that we would be a household name in churches and families across the nation.
Well, that's all for this week. For more information and regular updates on all of our stories, plus much more, visit our website at christian.org.uk. Until next time, goodbye.